Alright, nice little warm-up problem here. We have a predetermined slope, so 3/4, so m is 3/4. And what we're going to do is set that equal to, coordinates of point A are 2, 5. So I can do this either which way. I have y minus 5, and I have x minus 2. So that's what we're after here. I need to come up with what we're going to get here. So I have two separate problems that I want to pull this into. So if I have 3 equals y minus 5, I'm going to add that 5 plus 5 plus 5, so y equals 8. And same thing here, plus 2 plus 2, x equals 6. So that means then with the other pair would be 6, 8. 6, 8. Okay, so breaking that up into two parts. Alright, this is all some review stuff, so we're going to go pretty quick and then try and get you caught up to, usually the only thing we really need to talk about is your x-intercepts, y-intercepts, parallel, perpendicular. Everything else you should be pretty good with. If you're not, then we're going to have to seek out some extra help to get caught up. So slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. That's what we're after, where m is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. Point slope, another useful one, but not used often enough. Y minus y1, this is the actual point, and the slope, and then x minus x1. So this is if I have a point, so the point itself is x1, comma, y1, and the slope again is m. Alright. Here what we want to do is just identify, just like we did with pictures the other day, I want to try and find any slopes that I have. So I'll try and finagle these lines around until I match them up with some of the slopes that we have. So I see a slope along top here. Alright, it doesn't want to work for me. So here, let's do this. Let's just say, alright, this is a slope up here. We have a different slope over here. I see the tree line has a slope. There's kind of a valley here. I don't know if this is a vegetation line. Maybe we have that. This seems like a neat little place here. So again, even in the most, what seems like just a picturesque type of picture, once you get your math mode on, you're going to be seeing slopes everywhere as you look at those. So next thing we do is just identify that slope. So we have done this a number of times while we're dealing with our just finding slope. So for k, again, I'm going to try and find some nice points. Here's a nice point here. Yeah, let's call that a nice point too. So my rise and run, my rise is down 3, so negative 3, and it's over 1. So I don't need the over 1 part, but we're trying to get that right triangle in here. L, so here to here. Okay, rise 1, run 1, we're at 1. M, let's get out of the way here just a little bit. So I get a point here, and it looks like to here. So rise 2, run 1, so 2 over 1 are just plain old 2. And N is the last line that I have, so if I use this point here, looks like we don't have another nice one till way out here. So I'm going to fall 1, so negative 1 over, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1/8, negative 1/8. Right, so our second task now is going to be write these as in slope-intercept form. So if I get rid of this box here, I'm going to do all of this again. So now I'm just going to take and look for the intercepts of each line. So we already have slopes identified, so that makes this process quite a bit easier. We said the first one, k, was negative 3, so we're going to say y equals negative 3 x, and then I see k was this line here, so minus 2 because it goes through negative 2. Next on the list is L. L came through right here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So y equals 1x, or just x. and plus 5. M, that was the one down here, so 2, 3, 4, so negative 4. So negative 4 goes on the end. We had 2 as the slope, so 2x, and it equals y. So all I'm doing now is putting all the things together based on the graph. And here we started with our y-intercept. So the last one was 5, so this must be 6, so plus 6. And the slope was negative 1/8 x equals y. And you could have done all of this without me telling you anything about it. But we already know how to do the slope. I just want to identify where it goes through. So the red points that I added is what we're after. So given the graph, don't do any mathematical work other than counting. So that's the whole point of the entire slide. Now I'm of course going to take away the graph. So we have to do a little bit of thinking, a little bit of work. And we're doing y equals mx plus b is what we're after. So when we say write an equation, for this section here we are going to be talking about slope-intercept form, so that's what we want to use. Any ordered pair is also known as x and y. So as we do some substitution here, that's what we want, and the slope is of course m. So I have negative 1 equals m is negative 1/2. And we're going to multiply that by 8 is the x value plus b. B is what we're solving for. That's the guy that we want. So we want to get that alone so that we can solve for it. So I get negative 1 equals negative 4 plus b. Add your 4. So b equals 3. And the point of the whole thing is to try and get slope-intercept form. So y equals, the slope was negative 1/2 x and plus 3. So in the end I don't have just b equals, I want to make sure I have an equation of a line. So 1/2 x, negative 1/2 x, and plus 3. Plus 3. Having some pen issues here. Maybe my computer will catch up in a second here. Alright, same idea. 5 equals 2 times 1 plus b. Trying to plug things in right away. M, x, y. Solve, because you've already done this before. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 2. 3 is b, minus 2, minus 2. Y equals 2x plus 3. Done. Super fantastic. Alright, so you get to pick your own here. Pick anything that you want in the whole wide world and be good to go with that. Make sure you check it or have someone check it if you're not sure. But we do want to get one more practice in there. Alright, next one, I have the numbers predetermined. What I really want you to do is think about this for just a second. If I have an x is 0, what did I just tell you? I told you that the x is 0, so this is the y-intercept. So when I see that, hopefully a little bell goes off and I can go straight to y equals negative 3x plus 7. If for some reason it doesn't go off, look at what you have to do, and when you see this, you'll realize, oh man, b is 7, and then I can get my answer. Okay, but if you remember that and a little bell goes off in your head, then you can shorten that up just a little bit. I want to throw that at you. Alright, instead of doing 2 points this time, let's do something a little more interesting. Let's do an x-intercept. And let's pick something like 3. So x-intercept of 3. And I put a comma because I want to write then what that means. That means 3 comma 0. And let's pick a y-intercept. And let's make that negative 5. So that means 0, negative 5. So and the point is to write y equals mx plus b. Well, I know what b is. I know my equation is going to end with minus 5. So maybe I put that down here someplace. Y equals something x minus 5. But I do have to go through the process of finding slope. So let's do that. So negative 5 minus 0. And if I start with negative 5, I do have to start with 0. So 0 minus 3. I get negative 5 over negative 3. So that's 5/3. So that goes in as my answer. Okay, so instead of just giving you ordered pairs like we did in Algebra 1, what we start to do is start to identify different things. So you have to know some vocabulary and definitions on top of it. So x-intercept, y-intercept. And just like the next problem we'll see, we'll make one up real good together here. Process is exactly the same, we just have to identify what they're really asking me to do. So I could give you x-intercept, and let's say x-intercept of 3. The other part that I want you to identify is it has to be perpendicular to y equals negative 2x plus 1. Well, the only thing that's important here is the fact that I want to be perpendicular, and here's the slope that I want to be perpendicular to. So what we need to do is a little bit of work. So my ordered pair, 3, 0, x has to be in there. And my slope then, if the slope is negative 2, perpendicular slope is going to be positive, and we're going to flip it over, so 1/2. So now we're working, we have 0 is the y value, 1/2 is the slope, 3 is the x value plus b, so this is now over 1, so 3/2 plus b equals 0, so b must be minus 3/2 minus 3/2. So b is negative 3/2, negative 1/2. Final equation, y equals negative 2x minus 3/2. Now if I go to ask you to graph it, you might want to change that to 1.5 or 1.5, but for the sake of having the equation, that's exactly what we want. Exactly what we want. Any questions? We do have some shortcuts that I do want to reveal to you. So some things you want to make sure you're looking out for. Oh, let's get this out of the way. Alright, if I have, no matter the x value, if I repeat the y value, what do you think is going to happen here? This mouse has gone from bad to worse. Alright, so repeat the x values. That means I'm going to get y equals 2. That's going to be my bottom line equation. And why is that going to happen? So if I have y values, so I have 2 minus 2 when I go find the slope, and it doesn't matter what the x values are. So if I said 5 and 3, 2 minus 2 is going to give me 0. 0 slope is always going to end up being a y equals. Same thing, if I repeat my x values, and again, these are going to help you out if you remember them, but if you don't, you're just going to do some extra work. So x equals 3 because x is 3 every single time. Again, trying to illustrate that, I'll pick any random numbers for y, and if I do 3 minus 3, doesn't matter what I have on top. This is over 0, which means undefined. So that's what we're after. And the last one, if they give me this point here, this is actually the b value. So just a little shortcut. If you see some of these things, I do need to find the slope with this third mess here, but they are giving me the y-intercept. If that helps any place along the way, then just keep a heads up for that. I do have a little exit pass, and then homework. Homework should be attached to your packet. Here we go.